Uh, he said time is money. Oh, fantastic, Matt. I'll tell you what, we're 2 minutes in, and so far, pretty smooth, if I do say so myself. So good work on the setup. This looks professional. Yeah, not too surprised that it was low scoring. Don't mind that at all, actually. You know, nature of the beast with this time of year. Guys just aren't really in the full swing, and you're throwing them into a World Series like environment. Like obviously tough for hitters to kind of be at the top of their game, especially when you have guys like Palencia out there just I don't know what throwing like 102 or whatever. Um, yeah, yeah. I'm happy he's not just a thrower now. So yeah, good to see him from a Cubs perspective. Obviously, I wish his the whole game, the whole thing went the USA's way, but here we are. Yeah, small consolation prize for you, Eugenio Suarez. A personal note for you. Apparently, they can't hear you, Matt, at all. That's what chat's saying. So, where'd it go? maybe not so smooth in the first 2 minutes. You
Yeah.
know.
Apparently, I would I would assume you can hear me now. I'm hoping it's not echoing, but we'll we'll uh, we'll dial this in as we get going. It's
We're
still
working
a
on the
little
checklist.
yeah, it's still a little difficult to balance all this shit out while doing this the first time, but we're only gonna get better with
Yeah,
time.
you're good now, apparently.
All right, good. I
Well,
completely
where
forgot
to
that I
take it from
muted my
here?
mic, but I thought that it still would have sent it through Riverside. But oh, I know why. Fill air.
We're amateurs.
Jake, you're supposed to fill air time.
Oh, is that what you just told me to do?
Yes.
My bad. No, yeah, I'm happy that guys from both of our teams actually came through. Even though it was against the U.S., there's something to say for getting a little momentum, and this momentum from succeeding on that stage probably lasts a little bit longer than a hot start in spring training
Yeah.
against guys who are going to be in Double A. So no, good to see. Good consolation prize for us. Obviously, U.S. winning would have been awesome. I thought we had it on the Bryce Harper home run.
Yeah.
Just kind of
About
seemed like,
time we did something.
yeah, it really just seemed like, hey, like we've been cold offensively, and all of a sudden we have this huge shift in momentum. It kind of just seems like the American way, a little bit of back against the wall, kind of where we like to be. I thought that moment was coming true, and then we got ourselves crushed. So
Yep.
it is what it is. Great tournament nonetheless.
Oh, absolutely. I'm excited for it. I don't know if I kept seeing a bunch of stuff saying 2030 today was the next time, but the last I saw, they hadn't even announced when the next one was going to be yet. So I'm hoping they lessen, or I guess they increase the frequency in which it happens, because that was absolutely electric. I don't think they will this time because the Olympics is in 2 years and there's baseball, but I feel like I remember seeing that there was only 6 teams in it. So we'll see. But that means that I know the WBC was a qualifier for the Olympics, which 3 teams from the Americas got decided from the WBC. So that means USA, Dominican Republic, and Venezuela will definitely be in the Olympics. So it's going to be a nice little American triage there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're returning to the 4-year cycle, which I don't know after how exciting this one was, the momentum that's picked up over the last 3 years. The guys participating in it.
Yeah.
I hope they reconsider it.
Well,
I
so
don't know.
I mean, if the Olympics is just as cool, I'm cool with that because then it's Olympics every 4 years and then that every 4 years.
I like this being the star of the show, though, as a baseball fan. It's just like golf in the Olympics, for example. Like, it's not like watching the Masters. It just isn't. It's not like
Yeah.
watching the Ryder Cup. It's not.
But it's not supposed to be that, you know? Like, I am gonna see it as like the WBC is the Ryder Cup, the Olympics will be the President's Cup.
Sure. I guess you're right on that. No, I just don't think it gets the fanfare, and I don't think it's a replacement for the WBC.
Mm-mm.
Talking about the Olympics.
Absolutely not. Yeah, and they're gonna have to grow it because I mean, baseball wasn't even in the Olympics in Paris 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was I think it was listed as like an optional sport for this time around. I'm thankfully we picked it up, but
it's also just the requirements to be on those teams are going to be different for the Olympics. I have to imagine. So you won't get really like the all-star lineups that you see necessarily. Like looking at Italy, I'm not sure how many of those guys would qualify to be on the Olympic.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's probably why there's less teams then. Because they know that they're going to get the 3 I mentioned already, Japan, Korea, Taiwan, like those will all be enough. But you can get other America's teams too, but I don't know where all the teams come from. But
it's just such a world sport. I wish there were more frequent opportunities to flex that.
Yeah. It'd be cool too because I believe they're also having some games in Mexico and Canada as well. So it'd be a nice, like, kind of all over the place type thing. But it's going to be, obviously, in summer. I don't know exactly when Summer Olympics are supposed to take place, but, like, what months or anything. But I wonder if they'll do it like hockey did and just have an extended All-Star break that year to kind of force MLB players to play in it. Because if it's going to be there, there's no point in it. I don't want to watch college players and minor leaguers playing it.
No, and I think after this tournament, like the guys are like completely bought in to representing the country, which is awesome. But also, like you don't want to go and watch a MLB game that means something without your top players.
Correct.
So
yeah, I mean, if the entire Reds lineup was hurt, I wouldn't be very inclined to go to a game. So, all right. I want to stay on WBC because I want to pick your brain, and I know you don't know about this, so feel free to not be prepared for it. But
okay.
I want to pick your brain on the roster makeup of the United States. More not in a talent lens, but a holy fuck, our team was boring to watch lens.
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
I mean, just watching Venezuela and Dominican Republic win and in the fashion they did, and then just how excited every single one. It was like watching a slow pitch softball game where it's like somebody gets a big hit and then just everybody just is out on the field, and it's kind of annoying in the moment. But during something like this where it's multimillionaires doing it, it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I'll say. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I'll say two things about it. One is it's part of the David and Goliath thing of when you're the favorites, it's hard to act like that. I think our guys approached it as a business trip. I think other countries approached it as backs against the wall, rallying cry type energy. So I'm not sure you necessarily fix that as long as the U.S. is favorited in these types of events. However, that being said, a bunch of our guys are they're really, really good baseball players, obviously, but they aren't necessarily outgoing personalities in a lot of ways. Pete Crow Armstrong, I thought he was first one off the bench, whenever something crazy happened, bouncing around and stuff. Obviously, he's one of the younger guys, which bodes well for future energy of the club. But
for sure,
I know I kind of mentioned this to you before, but I think a lot of it is we've been suppressing outward emotion in baseball, just growing up. Don't do bat flips. Don't show up coaches. Don't do all this celebratory stuff. And I think that's kind of taken a toll on the guys who are at the age where they're competing for the U.S. at the top level right now, which kind of sucks because it's now accepted to be able to do some of these things. And I'm not talking Fortnite emojis when you're around in third base after home run type stuff, but it's okay to be a human and not oh, I don't want to show up anybody. That stuff's kind of gone out the window for good. It's old way of thinking. There's no reason that you can't be excited. It's a game. It's fun. It's entertainment. So as long as you stay within that framework, by all means, I wish we had more energy, from the players themselves. Don't act like you've been there before. You haven't. In a lot of cases, it's a huge worldwide event, and for a lot of these guys, they haven't played in World Series, so you haven't played on that stage before in a lot of cases. So act like it's your first time. Enjoy it, have fun off the field, in the dugout, interviews and stuff. It seemed like they were having the fun. It just that doesn't translate really to the actions and emotions that you see on the field at all times. So hopefully that gets better. Kind of as time goes on and you see the emotion being displayed by some of these other countries.
I think it's funny how 3 years ago to this year changed in the United States landscape of it brought out better talent. But now, because I mean 3 years ago it was pretty much all us in Japan. Obviously that's how it ended too, and it was exciting as can be, but this year, I feel was just way more exciting because there was just life out of almost every single team outside of the United States. But, we were still fun to watch. It was just, it felt like a baseball game. It didn't feel like an event. Just watching the DR, watching Venezuela, even watching Puerto Rico and all the other Latino nations, they just looked like they had so much fun playing it. But to your point too, like with the business of baseball type thing, it's like this isn't your career's not going to be defined what you do in the WBC. Obviously, like people will probably mention Suarez hitting that double to take the lead, but by the time he retires, nobody's just going to be talking about that. But it's like I feel like they need to understand that their performance doesn't really matter. It's more of bringing it home for their nation. Like a lot of these guys, like as you know, I went to the DR. I was in Punta Cana by myself and did all this crazy, weird like excursion stuff in the middle of the island. There's some rundown, very poor areas of that island, and a lot of the guys that play for Dominican Republic grew up in those towns, and it's like that's where they come from. And even if somebody grew up poor in the United States, they're still in a major city probably, and they just don't have this like I came from nothing of nothing to working my ass off, making it to the MLB, and then going and winning something massive for my country that's doesn't have nearly as much of what I have right now. So it's like they have that pride and they have that something to fight for and their families to fight for, and they just don't have that in the USA, which I'm thankful we don't grow up and stuff like that, but it's just like it feels like we need to find a different way to become excited because we don't have that like we're doing it for our home type thing.
Yep. The motivation's definitely a little bit different. Especially when every single player on our team, like it's just an all-star team. Like every single one of them's an MLB player. Most of them have been around for years, and that's not the case on some of the other countries. Like watching, whose son was it?
Manny?
No. Pitcher.
Give me a team.
Fuck, I'm just drawing. I'm drawing a blank. I mean, he played for a bunch of teams. He played for the White Sox back in the day. But regardless, he was pitching, and he's like a high schooler, and throwing to like Shohei Ohtani and stuff. Like that kind of stuff is just so cool.
You talking
but
about the Brazil pitcher?
Yeah. I want to say it's.
I thought you were talking about Manny Ramirez's kid because that dude was crushing it too. I think he had 2 home runs against us.
I'm drawing a blank. God, I feel bad because the guy pitched for probably 15 years. It's hard to recall a name from
I can't think of it.
childhood. No, but like there's just situations like that where like it means more because there's different storylines and stuff like that for some of the players. So
no, and is it this guy? No, I don't know.
I mean,
no,
I have the technology. I can look it up.
It's absolutely exciting, and I cannot wait for the next iteration of it. But I'm very upset that it's over. I am happy though that the MLB regular season starts in 8 days. Well, technically 7 days, because there's a game Wednesday night.
Jose Contreras' son, by the way.
Gotcha.
Yeah, 17-year-old Team Brazil, Joseph Contreras. Yeah, pitching in that event as a 17-year-old for your country is absolutely insane.
Hey, Dante Bichette Jr.'s green hair, by the way, looked fucking stupid. I'm just gonna get that out there.
Only the important stuff.
But one of Manny's kids, Lucas Ramirez, is playing right field and was just crushing it.
Yeah.
Which I'm actually looking at his stats right now. He may have only had 2 hits, but there were 2 home runs, and they were both solo shots against the United States. So
same game.
The one game I watched them, he looked really good. All right. Do you have anything else to throw for WBC?
Ben's asking what teams' farm systems benefited the most from the WBC. I'm not sure.
There was a lot, and I don't know if I know off the top of my head of
who they belong to. That's the hardest part.
Yeah.
Unprepared, Ben. Sorry.
Oh,
no, and then Kevin asked or said that we should have a 4th of July baseball game on the White House lawn.
that would be tight.
Wouldn't be upset about making all-star games like travel a little bit.
Yeah.
And like
Like
getting
that as the Field of Dreams game.
correct. Yeah, like we do all this cool stuff that like gets
There's just so
extra
much
eyes
more.
on it, and then they go throw out like two terrible teams and like a fifth starter versus like a quad A guy,
Yeah.
um,
I
which
feel like
is
there's just probably too much
not the
money
best
then
use of
for
those
it to move
games.
it, and it's planned like 3 years in advance.
Yeah, well, guess what? Start planning now for 3 years from now, and let's have a solution then.
And Ben says it sounds like banana ball. No thanks, dude. Banana ball's great. I personally don't really ever desire to go see it unless I eventually have kids myself, but because it's not really an adult thing, it's more for kids. But banana ball's great. It's drawing people to the game of baseball in a very non-traditional way, which hopefully they understand that the game of baseball is not played like that.
Yeah, I'm good for growing the game, but to me, yeah, it's a little tacky as a grown man. It's like bringing your glove to the game.
I
Like
am
if you
impressed
are,
with what they can do, though. The backflip catches are kind of insane.
yeah, I mean, they're all like good players in the grand scheme of things. Like they aren't bad.
You don't like
It
the
just gives off the same energy as like bringing a glove to the game when you're going to the game as like a single dude. Like it's one thing if you have like your 4-year-old son or something with you and you're like, we're gonna do this together. It's a different thing when you go bring your glove and go sit in the outfield trying to fanboy or be like a groupie kind of thing to catch a home run ball. I'm out on
yeah,
that stuff.
yeah.
And
Fuck
banana
you,
ball
Zach
gets awfully
Campbell.
close to that. Yeah.
That guy sucks.
I like how you can pull his
He,
name out.
I
We
can
can't
remember it for you
come
right
up with
now.
can't pull
I
out
knew
Jose Contreras, but
I knew Zach Campbell's name. I just couldn't think of it, and I didn't want to yell at the kid that is from Cincinnati because he's a kid. Um, no, if Zach Campbell was one of these 6 viewers that we have right now, I still would say that. By the way, that guy sucks. He just pushes kids out of the way and steals ball from people. You can get fucked.
how about in Miami? I think it was in Miami that like principal or something who like stole a ball from a kid last year, and they got fired
I don't remember that.
because she was being a real bitch about it.
I do remember that clip. I didn't. I don't think I realized that she was a principal or heard that. That's funny.
Yeah, she had something to do with the school, and it's like you're a grown ass lady. Quit acting like that.
Yeah, it's
Let the kid have the ball.
if I caught a foul ball at open day, that thing's not leaving in my hands. I'm giving it to a kid.
There you go. Or you're writing your number on it and getting it to some lucky lady.
Maybe.
Work for
We'll
Justin
see.
Verlander.
Yeah, well, that was to a supermodel.
You don't have to be a supermodel.
Now she's the mother of his children.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to think if I want to add anything else more about WBC. Unless you have anything particular you want to bring up.
No, I'm good.
I'm good to move on. All right. So we are going to get into. I'm going to try to talk as I type, so this should be fun. We are going to get into divisional previews. We're going to start with the AL East because, as Reds and Cubs fans, we care way less about the AL. So we're going to start with that always first. And we're going to start with the East because they're not the Central. And obviously, we're going to do the Central last. So I need to type 4 more characters, and then we are good to go on the title. Boom. There it is. All right, let's kick it off. What team do you want to start with?
Let's go Boston. The Bo
Boston.
Sox. Yeah, because they're the first on the page. How about that?
Well, should be Baltimore, but
I didn't go alphabetically. I just started
fair enough.
clicking.
all right, we'll kick us off then.
Um, yeah, so last year they were pretty good, but only third in the division, 89 wins. Um, I kind of expect some more of the same. Obviously, the whole fallout from the Devers stuff is disaster and probably going to be a difference between them just being a really good team over the next couple of years to like they could have potentially been like World Series contenders. I don't think they're to that point, but they still have a lot of good young pieces, even though what they got back in the Devers deal is pretty much all gone for the most part. They've already moved on from that miraculously, admitting that they just really dropped the ball on that whole situation.
And the
Um,
money was a major factor as well. But continue.
Correct, but If you're going to trade your or you're going to trade your superstar for prospects, maybe hold on to the prospects for more than like 6 months before you
Yeah.
decide that they all suck. But hey, what do I know? Roman Anthony, obviously WBC
Dude, he killed it.
player. Yeah, so like I think he's the real deal. They still got Jaron Duran, even though he was kind of on the rumor mill for much of the winter as a potential move. So
Mm-hmm.
retained him. Trevor Story kind of had their back in the bounce back. Wilson Contreras, kind of a new ad over the winter. Weiler Abreu played pretty well as well. Big home run in the
Oh, dude,
WBC. So
his
like they still
swing is
have.
so smooth.
Yeah,
And
he.
when he
I
when he
saw
makes
something that
when he makes soft
passing.
contact, that ball is destroyed.
I saw a tweet from passing where somebody said like, "Oh, you can't blow a high fastball by Abreu," and somebody tweeted back like, "You absolutely can." He hits like 111 or something on those, and then Vasson just responded. He's like, "Well, good news. He
Got me.
spent all no, he didn't say that though. He said like he overhauled his swing like over the winter because he understood that that was a weakness and that's how he was being attacked. And now
Really?
like clearly he just
I didn't
like
see that.
his home run was on a like high and inside fastball or whatever. And he said, "Thank you for bringing that. I should have added that as context. Um, Also, you like essentially had like a got me tweet in the most douchiest way possible. So
I
uh,
love passing.
I don't know. I love the little fire and bite back. Um, but no, I mean, they still got like plenty of um, prospects that are coming into their own to have a legitimate offense, and then they have one of the nastiest rotations and back ends in baseball. So I still think they're good. I get worried that it breaks down before it really hits a peak in terms of like a World Series run. So I kind of expect them to settle right in around where they were last year.
Yeah.
Probably third in the division still, probably, comfortably over 500, not touching 100 wins though. Somewhere in that range.
Yeah. Still probably a playoff team in my eyes. Let me know, by the way, if I keep getting too far away from my mic. I kind of just float when we're doing this. Um, I will point out, though, that they're not 1,000% done with the Devers trade. So, yes, the people that were in that trade are gone, but they did flip Kyle Harrison for Caleb Durbin, which I like. But, again, as you're well aware, I personally didn't believe too much in the Brewers last year. Obviously, they shat in my face at that, but he's just another part of that where it's like, yeah, he's all right. Like, he's above average. Like, he's good. Sure. Why not? And that's just what their entire team was, but they just figured out how to win every single game last year. But no, couldn't agree more with you. Their rotation is absolutely nasty. Even with Brian Bayo being their fourth is just absurd. I'm not excited to face them opening day. But I am excited to watch Garrett Crochet. Excited to see Sonny Gray again. And just watch us just get absolutely swept by Ranger Suarez. So that should be fun. But no, their team's great. I like their lineup a lot. Like, there's so many guys in their lineup I love. And they're all above average for sure. Love the addition of Wilson Contreras. I'm excited to see what Marcelo Mayer can do in his second year. But, I mean, all in all, I really like their team. I do love Jaron Duran, of course. I'm curious to see if they're going to end up trading him like they've talked about for the last 4 years. But, I mean, top to bottom, great team. I don't really have very negative things to say about them, but they're not just like this blow you away team. But they're going to win a fair amount of games, and I completely agree with you. Probably high 80s, low 90s, but probably third in the division. Just depends, honestly, what – I feel like this division's just up in the air. It's going to depend on what the Rays can do and how bounce-backy the Orioles are.
Yeah, for sure. You want to move on to the Orioles?
Should we segue to that?
Take the lead here, Matt.
Deal. I'm going to. All right, never mind. Yeah, that sounds like ass. We'll have to fix that. All right. So moving on to the Orioles. I mean, it's just it's like hard to talk about this team because I feel like or at least the last 2 years, it's like they have just this absolute stud lineup. They don't really have good pitching, and you just don't really know what the hell's going to happen. If you have a different opinion, feel free to go ahead. I do think, though, that they will finally do the bounce back. I think the additions of Taylor Ward and Pete Alonso alone are massive. But again, they didn't really get nuts with the rotation. I mean, adding Trevor Rogers, Chris Bassett, Shane Baz are great moves. I feel like there's not really a crazy just punch in the mouth. Like, obviously, Trevor Rogers, very good. Kyle Bradish, good. But it's like, I don't – it's not the best playoff-built rotation in my eyes. Like, there's not just absolute put-you-away starting stuff. But at least their rotation's way better than what they went into last season with. Not saying really that their rotation is the main reason why they sucked, but I look forward to seeing a lot of these guys continue to improve. Gunnar had a good WBC, didn't get a lot of playing time, but every time he was in, it felt like he would really contributed nicely. But I mean, top to bottom, I really like their team. It's just they need to show me something that they can actually win games again.
Do you think they're more likely to have a year like 2024 where they look really good and on the cusp of being great, or have another 75 win season and be one of the most disappointing teams in baseball?
So to pick between the two, I would lean more towards the 100 win because I don't think they're going to do the 75 again. I would say probably low 90s, which I basically think this entire division is going to do. But
Yeah, it's insane. I'm with you. I think they're more liable to bounce back than they are to I think last year was kind of rock bottom. Um, Obviously, like their team hasn't changed that much in terms of like quantity of pieces that have really moved from the offense. But as you mentioned, the Taylor Ward and Pete Alonso additions are huge. Like Adley Rutschman probably finds his groove again. Uh, they get a couple, well, two, I guess, guys projected to break camp. That's kind of additions from a prospect standpoint. So obviously, time will tell how much of a contributor they can be. But I'm with you. I think like the team is too talented. The rotation is not very good. It's like the Grayson Rodriguez was
yeah,
supposed to be like the next best thing. They traded him. So like I think they'll struggle solely because of the strength of the rest of the division. However, if they can pick off the Rays and the Red Sox and be competitive like within the division against them, like all of a sudden this team looks a lot better if they can just survive their own division.
yeah,
And it has
uh,
nothing to do with the talent really. Like they're talented as hell. It's just
oh yeah, uh, yeah. I mean, I feel like this entire division is just going to be who can stay the healthiest. Obviously, some teams need to play a little bit better, but like Jackson Holiday, I haven't looked up to see when he's supposed to be coming back, but he did break his hamate bone. Jordan Westberg, torn elbow ligament, out for the season. Like those two alone hurt very badly. But again, like I like their lineup. It's still solid. It just they need to show me again before I really dive in and buy in on them.
yeah.
But
Jackson Holiday should be back semi close opening day. I think they're going to be more cautious with him than like Lindor or Corbin Carroll. They all have the same injury,
yeah,
and they got it within like the same week. So, uh, Francisco
Yeah, that
Lindor, I
was
think they're
crazy.
hoping is
It was like 2
back by
days.
like opening day. So but the thing is like they'll be back. All three of them will be back right around opening day, if not maybe a week or two into the season. But you also have these guys who have had zero spring training, so
Yeah.
there might be an
Yeah, they
extended
won't just
time
bring him right
in the
back.
minors, or they hop right back in after a short rehab stint, and they still got to see pitches. So I kind of am approaching it from the viewpoint of like April's most likely a bit of a wash, whether it's from absence or rust. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't look too far into the Jackson Holiday
Yeah.
struggles early in the year. I kind of expect it. That's what I'm
Yeah.
getting at.
One thing neither one of us have brought up, but the addition of Ryan Helsley, I do really like a lot. I just hope that they're in a position to where they actually are able to close out games.
Yeah, I can get to him.
Unlike last season where they were 13 shy of losing 100, which is a
Yeah,
weird way to say that. But 13 games under 500, I should say.
the range of outcomes is so massive. Like the
Oh
last two
yeah, I mean
years, like I don't think either of them are flukes necessarily.
they could be
Like,
500 again. They could
yeah,
possibly win 100 again. Who knows?
probably one of the best lines to bet, to be honest with you, just because of that. Like if you were to take a
What's
ladder on
that?
how many games they were going to win,
They're set at 85 and a half. I would take that over. I think
I would as well,
at least,
for sure.
and I would honestly feel good if it didn't hit too. Like they're a weird team right now, but
Yep.
everybody knows
There's
they
enough
are.
upside though.
Yeah, for sure. Um, okay, so let us move on to pick a team.
Next on my list is the Yankees.
The Yankees win.
No rhyme or reason to this. Literally just the teams
Captain
that
America.
opened up in order. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why I keep referencing it back to WBC, but Gloves Judge did an absolute job in the WBC. But I need more. I know he's not this kind of guy, but I need more excitement out of him. Like, I almost feel like we need to go the hockey route and have a captain and then a couple other assistant captains and actually make that known. But, like, he should be the captain. He's the best, arguably, best hitter in baseball, and he's American. The other guy is Japanese, so we need to lean on him. But we need to have, like, a PCA or somebody else that's a little bit more social and movement in front of the camera to kind of get the boys going and start to adopt that Latin American baseball energy. Anyway, moving on. What?
All right.
I just had to add all that in, you know.
Throwing shots at the best player in the league.
No. I'm
From
not throwing
America.
shots. I
It's
say he did a
crazy.
great tournament. He's just a boring dude. Like
I don't think he is really. I just don't think it comes across the TV. Like he's a
did
Yankee.
you see his speech?
I don't care about that.
He's like, we're gonna go play
he's a Yankee.
baseball.
It's like a Patriot. Like
I know. If the guy was standing right next to me, I wouldn't say a single word about him because he's 6'9" and would beat the shit out of me. But I also respect the hell out of him as a baseball player, like,
yeah.
and as Captain America, like he did exactly what he needed to do. I need more hype. Seeing that DR response and Puerto Rico and Venezuela, like those guys are just pumped at all times. Even Italy. I know none of them are Italian, but like just seeing the amount of fun that they had, like we need that. We fucking need that, Jake. And it drives me crazy that we didn't have it because it's almost like we were like, this is ours to lose. It's us versus Japan, like.
We played like we have a stick up our ass.
Which, by the way, Venezuela beat both us and Japan. So, stick up ass indeed. All right, I've talked enough. Go ahead on the Yankees.
On the Yankees, people are going to be all upset that they didn't do a whole lot. They're pretty much
They don't
running
need
back
to.
the exact same team, and that's my point. They don't need to. They 94 wins in a tough division last year. Like it's going to come down to the playoffs once again. Like, are you going to step up and are you going to win it or not? Like, I don't think there's much that they can do to necessarily improve the roster a whole lot.
Mm.
Um, Starting rotation wise to start the year might be a little dicey depending on what you get out of Garrett Cole when he officially comes back.
Yeah.
Rodon's obviously hurt. Clark Schmidt hurt. So I'm not a huge fan of Ryan Weathers. I know that I want to say that you bet against Ryan Weathers a time or two. Um,
I used to when he was at the Padres.
yeah, kind of in that same boat. Luis Heel sucked, and then he was really good, and then he kind of sucked again. So
Yeah.
tough to put too much stock into him. Like as a five starter, like sure he's plenty good, but I don't think he's the type of guy to like overachieve to the point where like he's really changing the dynamic of the team. Um, and all that being said, one of my hottest takes I think of the year is that the Yankees are now likable.
I've heard you say this a couple times over the last
Are
couple months.
Yeah, are you on my side?
I am on that
Oh,
team,
come on.
and I fucking hate it because growing up in the '90s, everybody hated the Yankees unless you were a Yankees fan.
Yeah.
But they're not the Yankees from the '90s anymore. They're not just sitting
No.
here buying up all the good players. That team is out west and in the other league, which I think they're legitimately becoming that exact same thing. Like people are starting. I think they need to win one more for it really to be just Dodgers fans versus everybody else. But no, I completely agree, and I hate myself for agreeing with that.
Atta boy. Welcome to the dark side. No, like there's if you look at their resources, like their owner, Steinbrenners, they're in the bottom half of the league.
Yeah,
So like everything that they go and buy, it's something that everyone else can go do for the most part. Outside of a couple of teams, hate to say it, Reds are one of them. But I mean,
back the fuck
the
up,
Reds
dude.
are just, the Reds are just so fucking broke. It's like they
Oh,
can't
they're
afford Kyle Tucker's
all right.
contract.
This isn't the
Like,
NL
period.
Central. This is AL
Fine.
East.
But my point is, like, everyone hated that they bought their players. Like, now, like, if they buy players, it's tough to hate on them because other teams have more resources than them. They're just willing to go do it. Like, it's nobody's fault that, like, they're trying to win. They're always trying to win. And it's something that can be replicated by not every, 80% of the other franchises out there. So, massive bit of respect. It's the same stuff. It's a different lens that we got to be the Yankees through right now. And they honestly are one of the best chances to like dethrone the Dodgers, assuming Dodgers make it to the World Series again, which I wouldn't necessarily go that far to write off the entire season, obviously, but odds are if any team from the NL makes it to the World Series, Dodgers are clearly the favorite. So
Yeah.
I like the Yankees. I'm rooting for the Yankees. I also am a
Oh,
big like
hold on. I'm not rooting for them.
what?
They're just not
Okay,
good.
I am. I am.
Give me another year.
Okay, I'll go that
Well,
far.
I'll say 2 years because we're probably not playing baseball next year. But we'll see.
They're likable, and I'm gonna really just stamp that into your head. You're gonna be so
I
sick of hearing it from me.
I don't disagree. I just
I'm,
the 8-year-old me is like, dude, shut the fuck up.
yeah.
They're not likable. They're the Yankees. You're a Reds fan.
Do you like the Yankees or the Mets more?
I mean, there is a level of like for both. I don't hate either. I feel like the Mets are hard to hate because they've always been the little brother to the Yankees. So it's like, I mean, they really haven't really ever been that great in our lifetime. At least not in our adult lifetime. They should be good.
They broke my heart as a Cubs fan. Not that long ago. Well, Daniel
Um,
Murphy, DeGrom, Syndergaard, Matt Harvey team.
That team was nasty. No,
For the record, I like the Yankees more than the Mets right now, for sure. Because if you think of the Mets, like the second they win, it's like, oh, it's because their owner's a billionaire, and
Yeah.
so Kyle Tucker was like the big prize of the offseason. Like if he were to invest all of his money into the S&P and get 10% back, like he's making he could then go buy like I don't know, probably 10 Kyle Tuckers with just the money he earned, in that year. And so he could do that every single year. Like that's stupid.
But they could also invest in the next Bernie Madoff, like previous Mets ownership did, and then Bonilla Day every single year.
Yeah. Most teams have a Bobby Bonilla though. People sleep on that.
Yeah. But no, this roster up and down, absolutely love. Trent Grisham became one of my favorite players active last year. The dude was just on the entire year. It was absurd. Obviously, Judge is great. Belly's great. Ben Rice is an absolute stud. I've never been the biggest Giancarlo Stanton fan, but when the guy gets a hold of the ball, it goes into the Mets stadium. Jazz, I've started to like a lot more, just because I kind of thought when he went to the Yankees he was gonna like kind of keep being that like ego guy, but I think he really checked that at the door and kind of just chilled. I don't love the 40-40 call that he's doing. I mean, if he can get even close to it, hats off to him. If he can call that and even get close to it, good for him, because that's a very hard feat to do. But then Caballero, also fantastic. I'm still not really that sold on Austin Wells. He had a fantastic rookie year, but I believe he sucked balls last year. WAR is a little inflated because he's a catcher, and then Ryan McMahon, what's not to like about him? Just a crafty vet, even though the guy probably hit 180, 85 last year.
I was going to say there's plenty not to like about that batting average, but
yeah, he just
I don't know.
I feel like because he was just such a lifelong or a career-long Rocky, it's just like hats off to you, bud. But as we kind of talked right before we clicked record on this, Paul Goldschmidt currently listed for the bench, which is an interesting move, but I mean, he's about to be 39. Kind of makes sense. He didn't have.
Yeah.
I was about to shit on him for WBC, but I don't even think that's the case. It's also it makes me laugh every time I see this guy's name. But Randall Grichuk is supposed to be on their bench. I feel like every single year that guy is rumored to sign with 18 teams. But glad to see he finally landed somewhere. But to your point earlier, their rotation's fantastic. And then obviously they're going to get Garrett Cole back at some point. But Schlittler is gross. I can't wait to keep watching him this year.
Yeah.
And Will Warren to move forward, and then Max Fried to continue to be Cy Young caliber Max Fried.
Do or die year for Boone? Question in the chat.
Yeah. I mean, but at what point is it not die? Like, do they need to make the World Series?
Yeah.
At the very least, when they're they won their division last year, technically, but
I'm just looking at their lineup and like Stanton's 36. Judge obviously still at the top of his game, but he's 34 almost. Bellinger 31. McMahon 31. Like 31's not old. Paul Goldschmidt 38. Randall Grichuk 35. Like the time's kind of now for the roster, and ain't no way you're coming up short this year and then having Booney come back and be like, all right, like we ran the same team back 2 years in a row. We didn't get there.
Yeah.
Got to start thinking about rebuilding to some degree. And I don't think Boone sees that. So I would say yes. Do or die year, absolutely. And he's not going to get thrown out for arguing balls and strikes as much. It's like half the appeal of Boone is the
like, fucking savages.
Ring them up. Yeah.
Fucking savages in the box.
Yeah. That's the best part about Boone. That's got to be awful as a Yankees fan, by the way, to watch him in his antics.
Dude, my favorite, though, is when he legitimately didn't say anything and got tossed. And that guy.
Yeah, because the fan above the dugout was
just
barking.
I didn't say anything.
Me?
The one interesting thing for me on them this year is their bullpen too. So they let Luke Weaver and Devin Williams walk, But I mean, they did have some addition last year through trades in Bednar, Duvall. Fernando Cruz was still good for them last year, which it seems like he even got better than he was as a Red. But I feel like that could be kind of a weak point for him, especially their their low leverage guys do not rate well as far as power rankings go, but that's why they're low leverage guys. Like, you don't really need them to be that, but I feel like that could be a point of contention for them. So we'll see how that goes. But I didn't even mention Carlos Rodon, by the way, when I just talked about their rotation. So that guy was fucking unbelievable last year. Are you? I'm very curious how you're going to respond to this, but are you? I also don't know his timetable. I should have looked this up. But Volpe, are you concerned at all that he's currently still listed as injured?
No, because they have George Lombard Jr. if all else fails.
All right. Fair enough.
Yeah, I'm not a big believer in Volpe. Like,
I know you aren't. That's why I asked it.
He's young, like he can still figure it out. But if you're putting that much stock in him, acting like that's going to be like a huge differentiating point of good year, bad year, like I'd hate to be in that position where everything revolves around him. So I just tend to not think about him a whole lot and hope that he, exceeds expectations and finds a consistent, good version of himself.
What's going on in your house right now?
The wife's doing dishes.
Fair enough. All right, so I'm going to do a executive decision here and now flip to the Blue Jays because I kind of want to save the Rays for last. So, getting on with the Blue Jays. Still the same team basically from last year. However, obviously they're missing Bo Bichette. And I guess you can lump IKF in there. The guy was actually kind of important for them. But I still very much believe in this team. I think they are going to do amazing things again. I think they're another low 90s, mid 90s win team again. Just because that lineup is so, I'm trying to think of the right adjective. Stout is what came to my brain. They don't strike out a lot. And they're just a good bat-to-ball team. And that, first off, just the not striking out a lot, I mean, that puts you in a good position to win any game to begin with. But they have a lot of versatility on this team. And I'm excited for them. They picked up Dylan Cease. I was looking up Cody Ponce. I think that's how you say his last name. Might be Ponche, something like that. But I was looking up his KBO stats from last year. Guy was unreal at a sub-2 ERA. Didn't do the best in Nippon, so I don't know if he just had a really good year last year. But he had spent the previous 3 years in Japan. But then last year in Korea, the guy absolutely killed it. Had a record of 17-1, by the way, which in 29 starts, very nice. So I'd be very curious to see how that translates back to the MLB. His previous MLB time, it's just 2 years, but didn't go very well. Had a sub-6 ERA, but it was only on 55 innings, so it's not a whole lot to read from. But yeah, they still.
Hey, it's been proven that you can learn some things abroad.
Yeah. Still got Scherzer, and Trey Savage was a phenomenal late addition for them last year.
Yeah.
Very big on their playoff run. But yeah, I mean, outside of that, picked up Tyler Rogers too for their bullpen. But the rest of their bullpen's pretty much the same. And they're kind of just running it back outside of Bo Bichette. So
yeah, I think you hit it on the head. They spent a lot of money. The acquisitions. I was about to say accusations. The acquisitions are like big names. I'm not sure it really helps them a whole lot during like the regular season in terms of their win total. Like it's more of a playoff push, like get me over the hump feel to their moves, which is perfectly fine. Obviously, that's what they need. I do think one thing that's pretty under the radar is the trade for Jesus Sanchez. Um, he hasn't necessarily been like a platoon guy, just based on situations. However, he's a lefty hitter who crushes righties, and he's a switch hitter, but as a righty, he cannot hit lefties whatsoever. So I think this is like the best situation for him personally. And then obviously it kind of strengthens their lineup and gives them a little bit more flexibility, because obviously you can put him in the lineup against either, if needed. He's probably still a better option than some guys, but he kind of can be more of a specialist as well and really strengthen the lineup on days that he's in there. So that's kind of the only additional tidbit I'd, I'd bring to the table here. I'm totally with you. I think they kind of end up same spot they were last year. Can they repeat the magic that was the postseason?
They're so
Who
much fun.
knows?
They deserve to win that World
Yeah, they were
Series.
so much fun. They were so much fun. But yeah, I mean, they're one of the best teams in baseball. They're acting like one of the best teams in baseball. Obviously, they're going to be hungry. So I think they, pretty much replicate at least regular season what they did last year. And then once you get to the postseason, obviously there's tons of factors. Health being kind of, uh, you know, at the forefront of that. So we'll just have to see, if they can get over the hump this year. But they're doing everything they can from a front office perspective to get there. And I don't know, it's a good time to be a Blue Jays fan, I suppose.
Absolutely. And speaking of health being on the forefront, unsurprisingly, Anthony Santander hurt again.
Yeah.
I'm currently in the
Tony
process
Taters.
of looking up how many games he's actually even played for them. I guess he played in half or in a third of the year last year. Never mind. I thought he played in way less games.
He was terrible, though, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He's supposed to be such a big part of that team, which really sucks because they made it, obviously, as far as they did, get into the World Series.
Yeah. I mean,
Being a toenail away.
I kind of feel like that's why they went out and got Jesus Sanchez, because they're just like, well, we can't rely on this guy, so we kind of needed a different solution out there.
Shoulder injuries are never good for power either.
No.
And as a power guy, I don't know. Yeah, it's good to have a backup plan in this case.
All right. Last but certainly not least, well, maybe least, but the Tampa Bay Rays, one of the weirdest teams in the year or in the league every single year. Their lineup this year is the most scrappy lineup I've ever seen. I love it though, because they're actually going to be decent. They got the returning of Yandy, Aranda, and Caminero. But then they added Cedric Mullins, who did not have a good year with the Mets. And then they added my boys Jake Fraley and Gavin Lux, which I don't hate either one of them by any means. Like, they're very hot and cold hitters. Well, I guess Gavin Lux hit for average a lot last year, but that was weird. It just said that the chat disconnected and then it reconnected. And then our boy Chandler Simpson, potential Barrel Blunder 2026 winner.
Dare we say favorite?
Dare we say? But and then in typical Rays fashion, their rotation is probably going to be above average. Pepio, I love. That guy's a stud. But Shane McClanahan, I mean, guy's just been hurt. But glad to see he's healthy now. Nick Martinez, you never know what you're going to get with him. But dude puts out some absolute absurd starts sometimes. Almost had that no-hitter last year. I was in attendance. That was the funnest game I've been to in a while. But then their bullpen's a little weird. They do have Griffin Jacks, who also was a stud in the WBC.
Filthy.
Yes. And Garrett Clevinger, who rates very well, Brian Baker, and then the rest of them, I don't know half of them. So I don't know what's exactly going on in their pen, but what are your thoughts on this team?
I think they're far and away the worst team
Correct.
in the division. Uh, I don't think they're a bad team overall. Uh, I just don't like. I mean, the back half of their lineup, I have zero faith in. Chandler Simpson, like obviously, it kind of depends where he ends up. So I'm not necessarily considering him there. He can hit a two hopper to shortstop and run it out, and then end up on third,
Yeah.
where it pretty much just turns into a triple. So really good way to manufacture runs. Good thing they don't have much power outside of just like a couple of guys like Taylor Walls and Chandler Simpson and Gavin Lux. Like they're not taking guys deep on the regular. But when you see like right now their lineup right now, like Cedric Mullins is not a four hitter. I'm sorry. Like I like Cedric Mullins, but he's not going to drive in runs at the rate you need as a
They don't
cleanup
have a
hitter.
four hitter.
They
Well,
don't have. They have a bunch of like two hitters and like 7, 8 hitters,
yeah.
and then they have Junior and Aranda like sitting there as
I
well.
feel like
And Yanni Diaz
they
is
have
really good too.
three
But
four hitters, but those three have to hit 1, 2, 3 because
you need the backs at bats for
they
them.
don't have first, second, or
Yeah,
third hitters.
yeah. It's a disaster. Like the individually, they're all fine. Sure.
Yeah,
Um, like
that's why I'm
Junior
like they're so
Caminero, I think is
scrappy.
amazing.
Yeah, they just have.
They're
like,
gonna have to manufacture runs though. Bottom
correct.
line.
But that's what the Rays do, and they're playing still in the Yankees AAA park and score a lot of runs.
Yep. And I think Shea McClanahan, like, I don't know if there's an individual player that's not on the Chicago Cubs that I'm rooting for more because that dude is one of the best pitchers in baseball when healthy. Been hurt a long time.
Yeah.
So just happy that right now his arm works and hopefully he can find at least a little bit of
Yes.
what he
So
once
good.
had. Yeah. Still young too, by the way.
Yeah, he's not even 29 yet. I would have not guessed that.
Yep.
Yeah, they
I
got
mean,
an
he's
interesting team.
Cy Young level, like good.
Yes.
Not
I
not
would venture
saying
to say he hasn't pitched an entire full season, but
not
I'm
throwing
sure
like I don't want to make a Scooble comparison, but like there's a chance you can walk into just Cy Young caliber performance for a decent stretch of the season with him if he gets back to 95% of what he once was.
McClanahan has not pitched since 2023, by the way. So
Yeah. Hopefully he's well rested.
yeah, just less mileage on the arm.
Yeah.
But no, I mean this team, I'm in full agreement. I think they'll be finishing 5th in their division, but this is a team that I wouldn't want to like continuously target to bet against because it's a scrap, and that top 3 is enough to win any game. Like they could score 5 runs between those 3 and win a game.
So they scored 77 or they won 77 games last year.
Yeah.
I actually wouldn't be surprised if they win like 72 this year, just because of the strength of the rest of the division.
Weren't they?
Like it's almost at the point where you can just walk Junior Caminero every time that the game matters, and then you just roll into like 5, 6 straight hitters that you can take your chances
just walk
at.
the first 3 every time.
Like if the game's on the line, like you got 2 righties and a lefty, pick whichever one you're gonna throw against or whoever's cold at the time, whatever it may be. You got to pitch to one of them. In most cases,
I don't
like
disagree.
that's where the lineup depth, like, very concerning.
Yes. All right.
And then at the same time, Junior probably ends up with 50 home runs again because they might be trailing sometimes and they just grew fastballs to get the game over with. Yeah.
And their fences are 280 all around. All right. I'm going to go through this list of win totals. I'm going to go from lowest to highest. And then we are going to on the fly pretty much predict our division of the AL East. So
Deal.
the Rays 77.5. I agree that they're probably going to finish last, probably around that mark, if not a little bit lower. I'll go and confidently say under on that.
I'll agree with you there.
Orioles 85.5. I think I would say over on that.
I'll take
Reds-
the under.
Really?
Yeah.
Red Sox 87.5. Blue Jays 88.5, and Yankees 90.5. So basically, Vegas thinks it's going to go Yankees, Blue Jays, Red Sox, Orioles, Rays. I don't disagree with that too much. I think that exact order only swap Red Sox and Orioles, because I think the Orioles will have a bounce back. I think they'll make the playoffs, but finish comfortably in third in the division.
Are we only doing the order, or are we doing over-unders? The order? I'm good either way.
Yeah,
Yes.
do order.
Okay.
I
think they-
comment on over/under.
No, I think they nailed it. I'm not making any adjustments.
You heard it here, folks.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, they can't all be winners. I mean, like, in sense of hot takes or anything, like
Yeah.
they got it right. There's not that much change in the division. Like, there's players here, obviously players there, but nothing changes the dynamic outside of the Orioles could go out and win 100 games, and they can go out and win 68 games, and I wouldn't be surprised either way.
Yeah. I just want the season to get started so I can see what the Orioles look like. And spring training's not going to give me dick of a view. So.
New fence, by the way.
Huh?
Move that left field fence in.
Again?
No, I mean, we just talked about it once.
Yeah. Fair enough.
They moved the fence out a couple years ago, and then
they moved it back in when we're talking
Yeah.
Orioles, right?
yeah,
Yeah, they moved it back in when they signed Tyler O'Neill,
yeah.
who then proceeded to get hurt. Oh, my dumbass. I'm ready to talk NL East, by the way. I just accidentally pulled up all the tabs for NL West. So if you give me 4 seconds, I need to adjust that. But
You want me to start talking?
yeah, why don't you just go ahead.
All right.
I'm actually going to do the transition real quick, so give me a second.
Ooh.
Get it all fancy.
Yeah. Gonna watch it. Love this thing.
Fucking clipped. Anyway, we are now moving on to the NL East. Jake, I will let you even pick the team, so go ahead and do so, sir.
I want to start with Atlanta because I got the most to talk about there.
Four is yours.
Same team. Pretty much. Right.
That's good.
Once again, we're not doing an overhaul. We're not bringing up like crazy new prospects, anything like that. Now, here's the thing. They've been good
Do you
for
think
a long
that's a
time.
good thing or a bad thing?
I think it's a good thing. They've been good for a long time. Last year, not real good all of a sudden. 76 wins.
A lot of injuries.
20 games back of the Phillies.
A
However,
lot of injuries. Their entire
If
rotation was hurt at one point. Continue. Sorry.
correct. Unfortunately, they still got a lot of injuries to the rotation. So, take it for what you will. Probably not going to get back to like the 95 win type of Atlanta teams that were World Series contenders. However, that lineup is still insanely good. Ronald Acuna, football talks about it all the time. ACL injury, 2 years after, you really feel a lot more like yourself, where you can start being an athlete a little bit more again. So I expect Ronald Acuna to get back to like borderline MVP
Yeah.
conversations. 2, if I had to pick, and maybe we'll do this eventually, if I had to pick a bounce back player of the year candidate, mine would be Austin Riley.
Ooh.
Hands down. He was one of the best players in the league for like a couple years in a row. Still only 29. A couple injuries here and there, but like he is, I've lost zero faith in him. So I'm watching that like a hawk this year as a storyline.
Just like how you watched Hudson
Just
Kira
see his
last year.
background.
They say
Tesson
Hudson
Hero is
Kira.
awfully
God,
tough to watch.
I cannot
Actually,
get their names
unfortunately,
straight. I always say Heston Kira, and
Heston Hero.
then I get tripped up when I talk about Heston Kira's dad.
No, so Austin Riley hurt the last 2 years, averaging right over 100 games each of the last 2 years, um, and numbers have obviously seen a dip. However, if you go back to 2023 and 2022 um, and 2021, that's 3 years in a row where his WAR was over six. Like he was legitimately one of the best players in the league. He finished in the top 10 in MVP votes. He's still only 29, and the lack of production has been availability due to injury. So as long as we're healthy again, like all of a sudden you're going from getting a guy who's like just a everyday contributor here and there. Kind of like if you equate it to like a spot in the lineup, like you're getting like a 7 or 8 hitter, and then you're turning them into a potential MVP candidate to go along with your other MVP candidate and a resurging Ronald Acuna Jr. So
Yeah.
lineup wise, I absolutely love it. Um, Rotation, obviously they still have Chris Sale, nasty. Spencer
Mm-hmm.
Strider, nasty. Ronaldo Lopez and Grant Holmes, not bad themselves. Um, all things considered, health mainly. Bryce Elder also like not bad. So even though they have injuries, um, Schwellenbach, Smith Scheuer, to kind of name the huge ones, um,
Yeah, he gone.
he gone. Yeah,
Smith Shawver
hopefully,
gone.
yeah. Um, Hopefully they got enough there still to stay afloat over the long term. And
I
then,
guess Smith Shawver could come back playoff time, but probably not. It's usually a year and
um,
a half, and he got hurt in June of last year.
yeah. And then we got to address the elephant in the room too a little bit. Jerkson Profar, dumbass, certified dumbass, getting caught
Would
for the second
you?
time.
How would you feel if they permabanned him?
Do it, sure.
Especially twice in 2 years. That's absurd.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
think it's
dude.
always funny. These guys get caught and they're like, my trainer just gave me something, or, whatever the storyline
Now
is
I
about how they
believe it
accidentally
when
took
Noelvi
something.
Marte said it
Yeah,
because
because he's a
he's an
red.
upstanding he's an upstanding citizen and
Yeah.
a good dude. Um,
Yeah.
Not saying Dirk Fafar isn't, but Noelvi Marte definitely is. I don't know him personally, and I can just tell you that he is like that. But no, I mean, I pretty much agree with everything you said on this team. I do agree with Ben Fink in the comments. Possible Acuna MVP year incoming. He said it pretty matter-of-factly. I'm throwing a possible in front of it. Drake Baldwin was fantastic last year. It's a great addition to this lineup. Assuming he can continue it on in his sophomore season. I mean, just going down the whole lineup, too. I mean, you got Matty O, Austin Riley, Ozzy Albies comes in absolute clutch home runs all the time, especially against the Reds. He loves hitting the Budweiser deck. I feel like Michael Harris had kind of a down year, but that dude's just an absolute stud, too. Dominic Smith is on his 40th team in the last 20 seasons. And then I also completely forgot that they traded for Mauricio Dubon. So that's definitely not a bad 9-hole hitter. And he's a phenomenal shortstop. So I like their lineup up and down. Their bench leaves some to be desired. Jonah Heim, though, could have some sort of a comeback. And they could just have an absolute two-headed monster at catcher. But no, to your point, I mean, rotation still hurt, but even with the two guys that are mostly hurt, like it's still a very good rotation. Especially if Ronaldo Lopez can go back to doing what he was doing recently. They also signed Robert Suarez, so they basically have an absolute shutout 8th and 9th with him and Raisel Iglesias. The rest of their bullpen, like they all rank well. Obviously, nobody really knows bullpens that crazily unless it's your own team. But, I mean, I don't see any reason why this team couldn't get back to being the Braves of the last 5 years, at least skipping last year.
Agreed. One more thing on their bullpen, by the way. Typically, I think a bullpen said, I'm like, hey, the range of outcomes here is crazy. Like, it's a lot of guys who are burnout starters mixed with like prospects.
Well, actually, never mind. Go on.
I was just gonna say there's a lot of bullpen guys who are flashes in the pan. They could be 34 years old, never have had like a great year, and all of a sudden be one of the best relievers in baseball for a 1 or 2 year stretch, and then they go back and you're like, forgot that guy was ever even good. It's just guys pop up left and right. However, when you look at theirs, like they do have some guys who like been there and done that like over and over and over and over again, which is a rarity, and that in and of itself is a very, very big strength, especially when you have a good offense.
Just bullpen as a whole, or is there any one particular?
No, like I mean,
I feel
Raiso
like
Iglesias has been around forever, and like he's always been good over and over and over again.
All right, I thought you were more saying that they have some guys that like have been flashing the pans multiple times.
No, I'm saying quite the opposite. Actually, I'm saying most bullpens are built where like you might sign 15 guys who might be in your bullpen, and you just ride hot hands, and like it's guys who like tend to outperform, and it's all of a sudden, it's like, how did anybody see this coming? You didn't. Yeah. You just cast a wide enough net and rode a guy when he was hot. Pause.
I thought you were going to say about.
That was awful. That one was awful.
I thought you were going to say it about Joel Payamps, but then you go and say something like that.
I'm sorry. I lost complete train of thought. That one was awful. Oh, man. All right, next.
All right. Ben Fink, are you still in here? If so, give me the next NL East team to go to. You have 5 seconds.
You got to build in 5 second lag.
3. No, yeah, that's a good point. I'll give it 5 seconds from now. If not, I have the next team to talk about. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I don't see it.
All right. Distance myself from what I just said.
All right.
Faster.
So let us move to our nation's capital.
All right.
Arguably, actually, probably not even arguably, but yes, definitely arguably. I don't know why I just said that. The second worst team in the NL, your Washington Nationals. Go ahead.
Best thing about this team is the president's race.
Oh, boy, do I love the president's race.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Potential foreshadowing to a future Ducks on the Pod episode.
That's true.
Definitely not in the works.
Thumbnail?
It's on the idea sheet.
Oh yeah. I see where you're headed. Not much to like about the team, to be honest with you. At an MLB level, CJ Abrams is good. James Wood could be very, very good. Mm-hmm. So lone bright spot, and let's hope Dylan Cruz figures it out. Besides that, we have a barrel blunder contestant in Jacob Young, still getting a bunch of at-bats. So obviously I'll be rooting for him. In the spirit of things, their rotation is it the worst in baseball?
I don't know that if you're actually asking me that, but it probably is.
It's up there. It's got to be bottom 3.
I forgot they have Miles Michaelis.
That's kind of what that was pointed at.
Also, the fact that he's about to turn 38 is baffling to me. I didn't think he was that old. I just thought he sucked.
Well, I mean, he was a rookie at 32 or 31, so.
No, I just don't remember that. But he is easily my favorite pitcher to bet against.
Yeah, you're not a big believer there.
No,
I don't have much to say. I mean, it's a bunch of guys that, like, I don't know, maybe there's some young, exciting things that happen.
I mean, they have a lot of fun guys to watch, but their team outside of them is just butt cheeks.
Yeah.
Like they don't even. All right, never mind. He did that with the Rangers last year. I was about to say they don't even have the Patrick Corbin just having like a random really good season, but that wasn't even with them. But they're probably still paying him $40 million a year. But C.J. Abrams, I continue to look to being better. I almost feel like obviously who likes being on a bad team, but I feel like he lets it kind of get to him. James Wood.
He just goes to the casino.
James Wood
7 a.m.
is like just an absolute fucking stud, and I'm very curious to see how many home runs that guy hits this year. I feel like just watching him, he puts on a hitting masterclass every time. However, he does need to get the K rate down a little bit. Fangraphs is projecting him at just under a 30% K rate, which is fucking absurd. But the rest of their team, it's not pretty. I'll be insanely transparent. On their bench, I only know of Joey Wiemer. I don't know who the other three people are. Never mind.
UC Bearcat, by the way.
I know Jose Tena, but Andres Chaparro and Drew Milas, I'm sure I've heard their names before, but it's never once sat in my brain. I whatever their win total is set at, I would probably say under on. But because to your point, I mean, their rotation is not fun.
There's no way out of disaster here.
They don't even have a good bullpen either. Like
the
only good thing about them is they're 1 and 2 hitters. And
like I don't even.
Dylan Cruz.
I'm not even sure they have a whole lot here to at the deadline be like, hey, at least we got this one vet that's a rental. We're gonna trade him and get something back. Like they kind of got nothing across the board. And I'll tell you what I'm most
top 100 prospects. I hope there's at least 4.
Yeah.
They do have
the top guys are at 55 on Fangraphs. Here's what I'm kind of concerned about.
Yeah.
7 of their 9 hitters were acquired initially through a draft, through an MLB draft, right? 6 of them are in the first or second round. So these guys were thought highly of at one point. And then you look around and you're like, tough to get excited about too much here. And then you look at a bit further and it's like the only 2 guys in their lineup who are like legitimate, like good MLB players in the broad scheme of things, like at their position across the entire league, both drafted by the Padres.
Yes, which were involved in the Juan Soto trade.
Correct. So it to me seems like the Nationals got to do some sort of overhauling in the scouting department because everything they're doing is turning into absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And it's almost just seems like they're up at the MLB level because like we've been talking about them forever and fans are like semi-invested and we suck, so we're just going to bring up guys that like we've been telling you to get excited about watching, and the production on the field is not great.
Yeah.
And not going to be great.
Yeah.
So we might need an organizational overhaul here.
I was just doing some research on their Soto trade. So in that trade, they got C.J. Abrams, James Wood, Mackenzie Gore, and 2 other guys I don't know, and Luke Voigt, who's currently playing in either Japan or Korea right now. Obviously, James Wood, great. C.J. Abrams could be a lot better. Mackenzie Gore just got traded for fucking nothing. Like he's
one of the most overrated players in baseball, in my opinion, by the way.
Yeah, I was big on him last year, and then I feel like he just really kind of sucked.
I don't think he's ever had it. I could be mistaken. He might have had 1 year where he had a positive pitching run value.
Yeah.
And if he did have 1 year and it was positive, it was like literally 1.
Yeah. But the main piece they got in that trade was a guy named Gavin Feen. Fine. I don't know how to say it. But he's 19. Obviously still in pretty much low A right now, but he's not even in the top 100 Not saying that he's bad, but he is their fifth prospect now. But it's like, what are we doing with these trades? I mean, obviously, again, James Wood, fantastic. C.J. Abrams, fantastic. But if you have nothing to build around it, you're just going to flip them, and it's just.
I could have told you that they were good though, because they were like top prospects in all of baseball at the time. You know.
Oh yeah, that year the Padres.
Like, you can't mess that one up. It's everybody else that like they actually have to do some sort of level of scouting and like projection on that we've completely missed the boat on.
Yeah.
So I'm not. I mean, I probably should have looked into it before making such a bold accusation, but hopefully they're in the process or have just overhauled things so that there's some optimism here, because I'm not seeing anything really.
I mean, if you look at the prospects, it's not that optimistic. Their top 4, you got 2 pitchers, a shortstop, and a catcher. Which the only one that I actually recognize by name is Harry Ford, mostly because he also played in WBC. But, I mean, even in the top 100, please hold. Only one of them is in the top 50. Not that they need to have a whole bunch of the top 50, but it's like it's not like there's a whole lot on the horizon to where it's just like a Nationals fans just have fun watching Abrams and Woods. It's like they don't have a lot coming. So
No.
I don't know really what's going on here. And of those 4 in the top 100, only one of them is projected to come up this year. That's Harry Ford. Another guy's supposed to come up next year, and the other 2 years from now. However, obviously we don't know if we're going to have baseball next year, but we'll see.
My thing is they were bad last year. They're going to be bad this year. They didn't even really give up much, like over the offseason. So it's not like they're going to be bad this year because like they gave up a good piece or two. Like Mackenzie Gore, we already talked about him. You know, my
but
thoughts
what they've
there.
replaced
Like,
Mackenzie Gore with is not as good as Mackenzie
correct.
Gore.
It's nothing. It's nothing. It's just, hey, let's sign a couple guys to like fill out a roster at an MLB level. Like if you got the money, like I would have loved to see them gamble on somebody who, like, hey, we're gonna give you a 1-year deal. We're gonna try to flip you at the deadline to speed up the rebuild process. Like, I don't think the guys that they brought in get you anywhere near that.
No.
Like, I don't know. I don't have the contracts in front of me, but like Miles Michaelis, like how good can he possibly be? Like, there's not going to be a market in absolutely any way for him. Like, sure, you might end up trading him for something, but what you're trading for is nothing.
Yeah, I feel like
It's probably more of a financial thing, if anything.
The moment he has like 3 straight good starts, I would just try to flip him.
Yeah.
Just sell as high as you can on a 38-year-old pitcher.
Or just like give me some reason for optimism here.
Are Abrams and Wood even extended long term? Do you know that?
I don't know. I can find out real quick for you. I
look
knew you were going to ask me that.
You look up James Wood. I'm on C.J. Abrams. C.J. Abrams is on a 1-year deal right now, so it's just arbitration.
Yeah, so he's the one who'll be a good flip.
I mean, this is his first arbitration, so James Wood should be under team control still, but unless they extended him. All right, I'm already on it.
No,
he's still
1 year.
pre-arb, and they have not even signed him long term. So
Do at least that.
It's going to be, well, but if not, I mean, they're going to deal him within the next probably 2 years. They'll get Hall if they deal James Wood right now.
Correct. So do you
what's
consider?
the point of?
Well,
the
obviously
point
you
of
consider
signing
it, but do you
long-term
do
if
it?
you have nothing in the wings.
I mean, hey, I agree with you full-heartedly.
And I hate trading young talent like this because I personally feel like it's not great for baseball. It's not great for the fandom of that city because
you got to speed this thing up though in this case. So I'm with you.
Like
Yeah,
you could. I don't know who's got 3 top 50 prospects, but I mean he is proven and he just hits the absolute piss out of the ball. You could get some really good prospect for him right now. And then while you're at it, I mean, you might as well flip CJ
Get Abrams.
Abrams and just
I was gonna
completely
say
tear
at
the whole thing
least
down.
get like 6 decent prospects where you're like, all right, if Dylan Cruz figures it out, all of a sudden we got at least 4 guys, 3 guys who pan out
Yeah.
between the prospects and what's left over after it to at least put a product on the field that's like fun to watch, if nothing less.
Were any of these guys big barrel wonder guys?
No, just Jacob
I
Young
feel like
was on the
Nassim
list for a while. No,
I don't know.
I know my guys.
All right, I'm ready to stop talking about this team. We talked
Please.
about them for way too long.
All right, what do you want to pivot to?
Pick either the Mets or the Phillies. Not that I really have any reason to hold off on the Marlins. I just think they'll be an interesting topic.
Okay, let's go Phillies. How about that?
Okay. Phillies. Interesting shakeups this year. Obviously, they brought Schwarber back. I did want him to come to Cincinnati. I have a weird thought on that. We can get into that in a different time. But for the most part, kept the same team. They did bring in Adolis Garcia, which in order to place Castellanos out there, like I like that. That's Castellanos had a horrible down year last year, and then his defensive woes came back. So it's not even like he was still being an average right fielder with all the crazy positioning they were putting him in. And I don't know a whole lot about Justin Crawford. I'll have to look into him more. But, I mean, their team I feel like it's the same as last year where it's like, I know I was really high on them last year. I did have them win the division, and I was correct. But, I mean, they're bringing back the Simzak rotation pretty much.
No Ranger.
Yeah, no Ranger, but sorry, it got red washed out with the Boston Red there. But you drove this home a lot last year, where it's like they're all getting older. I mean, three of their starting team all has 10+ years of service, with at least one more to have that next year in Trey Turner. But they're all getting older. Like, they're all kind of getting mid-30s age, to where this window is closing. But with that, I still really like this team, and I still think they could win this division. I don't know how sold I am on that this year. I'm going to make that decision in the next 10 minutes as we talk about the Mets and Marlins. But no, I mean, they still are a competitive team that could do some nasty shit. Yeah. I mean, their rotation's still disgusting. I need to look up Zach Wheeler when he's supposed to come back, but hopefully Kirkering doesn't want to shoot himself from the random stuff that went on last year. I hope people are being nice to him. He shouldn't want to do that, but that one play was just crazy. I know for a fact that Phillies fans are not
gonna ease up.
nice to him. But no, the guy's a good pitcher. Everybody lay off. It's fine. He made one bad mistake. Yes, it was a very bad mistake. But I mean, they added Brad Keller, your boy. Their bullpen's looking a lot better. Not that it was ever bad last year. But no, I mean, I still see him being a playoff caliber team.
Yeah, I think they'll kind of coast to the playoffs. Like, I don't. If I had to take over/under of the 96 wins from last year, I would say under.
Yeah.
Not necessarily because I think they're a worse team. I actually think they might be a better team, but 96 is just a big number. To your point, I think the Adolis Garcia ad is maybe a little bit bigger than some people are expecting. Like, everyone knows Nick Castellanos can hit a baseball, but he's so horrendously bad fielding that even us who say fielding doesn't matter, Adolis Garcia is an absolute cannon. Like, that is a big switch, and yeah, he's a liability. I forget who posted it. I wish I could give him credit, but there was something on social media about defensive runs saved all time, but it would only take a player at a certain position So like if you played multiple positions, aka Nick Castellanos, third base and right field, it would only take whatever their worst defensive run saves were by position.
Yeah.
Nick Castellanos almost qualified for like the top 25 list of worst defenders at both right field and third base.
Yeah. I think
And
I've
funny
seen
enough,
that
if you
post.
put them together, it's right about Derek Jeter.
Yeah, he would be second behind Derek Jeter,
Yeah, insane.
which a lot of people still don't understand
They
that.
don't buy it. I know.
Which
Crazy.
the guy was a clutch defender, but not a good defender.
And a couple highlight reel plays.
Yeah. No, I
Um,
mean, team's great. I like
Yeah.
Andrew Painter. I'm excited to watch him this year.
I'm glad you went
Especially-
there because Ranger Suarez is a huge loss. However, when you have one of the top prospects in baseball to replace them, we don't know what that output's going to be, but very well positioned to absorb that essentially for free.
Yeah. And not that WBC is like all else fails, but Aaron Nola had a great WBC. Two very good starts from what I watched. But I mean, this rotation, assuming Painter is what he's chalked out to be, I mean, this rotation will still be a top three at least in the NL, top five possibly in the league. I know that's typically kind of a point of contention, but obviously missing Zach Wheeler right now, that does suck. But he's had that surgery since September. I don't know when he's actually supposed to be coming back, but no, I mean, this team's just they're still going to do the same thing. My belief in them dwindles year after year, every time they don't do it.
Didn't Zach Wheeler say he's like retiring after this year or something?
I don't know that.
I think it was making news. He will retire when his contract expires after the 2027 season. Just come out and state that to the
Said
public.
Mookie was saying that.
Yep. Good for them. I mean, there's nothing else to prove, really, at some point. Like, go enjoy your riches with your family.
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
And there's something to be said for not, like, being a very, 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 very good player for so long and just stopping when you're still a very good player instead of having everybody's last memory be you as a carcass.
Yeah, I know people get so mad about that, but it like makes me think
That's the
of
way
like
to do it.
it like makes me think of like Andrew McCutcheon, like with the kind of drama that he's going through with the Pirates right now, them signing Ozuna and basically replacing him without giving him any sort of sign off. Like you just.
The thing is, when he went back, that should have been the
asshole.
foretell. That should have been the farewell tour when he went back. Be like, I'm not playing for another team. Period. I'll stay as long as you have me.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I do not disagree one bit. All right. Now you get to pick again.
Well, let's do Miami so we can end on the Mets.
All right, deal.
Want
All
me
right,
to lead us
Miami.
off?
Sure. So Miami, again, I think it's just going to be that team that doesn't go away. That is just going to randomly be like in games all year long. I mean, they really kind of proved that they do have some decent guys. I mean, Kyle Stowers was crushing the ball last year. And then we got our boy, Ducks in the Pod favorite, Owen Casey, projected to make the starting lineup. Obviously, he's listed as 9th, but it's 34 service days, so it's not like
He hung the
that's
shit out of that.
crazy. Yeah, that was awesome. But no, I mean, every player in this lineup has the like they could do something crazy on every day, but every single one of those same exact players, I don't expect that out of them every single day. It's like it's a very strangely built lineup that strangely produces. I mean, they finished 3rd in the division last year, and I mean, just 2 games under 500. Like, that's crazy to me. I know yes, they did trade away Edward Cabrera to your Cubbies, but I mean, they still have a fun rotation. I won't call them.
Yeah.
I won't call them great. It's still very fun.
They churn out guys with nasty stuff.
Yeah.
Like they might walk 30% of their hitters when they show up, but I'll be damned if their stuff's not moving all over the place. Like whatever they're doing, they're getting high spin rate guys or something. No, they're
Perez especially.
yeah, they're always fun. I mean, as much as the Phillies are a parallel to like the Yankees, just since we're talking AL and NL East today, like it's this team just feels like the Rays, don't they?
Yeah.
Like they don't really have any guys that you're looking, you're like, oh well, I'm absolutely shaking in my boots when I'm pitching to this dude. But at the same time, you look at the lineup and you're like, they they can all contribute enough, frequently enough, where like you're never really like the strength is in the depth of it, and that there's not a huge fall off in any part of the lineup. Like you have guys who have maybe specific skill sets in some way, and others like there's if they aren't specialized in a particular tool, it's like they don't really have a weakness. Like they're all just like solid baseball players, and they have nine of them in a row. So,
Yeah.
I mean, like Christopher Morel, just back from the Cubs days, and same thing with the Rays.
Your
Like
boy.
he might go 2 weeks where he can carry any team in baseball, and then he might disappear for 3 months. And but there's kind of a good aspect to that, especially when you have depth around you, and like they don't have massively weak spots. Like Griffin Conine coming back, he was injured last year. He could be really good. Uh, Augustine Ramirez could be good. I got to shout out Jacob Marcy. Hopefully, I'm saying his last name right. Whenever you're number 87 lead off and you're Jacob with a K like myself, um, you get a shout out. So Xavier Edwards, big barrel blunderer guy, but also just like a pretty good hitter.
Yeah.
Kind of in the Luis Ariz vein of like the swing speed slow, but that's not your game. Like you're gonna put bat on
Yeah,
ball.
he's getting
You're
on
going to
base.
contribute.
He's not
You're
worried
going to
about
get
hitting
on
the ball hard.
base. You can still be a good hitter and not get barrels, believe it or not. So for all the people who come at us for, oh, he's a really good player, though. It's like, yeah, I'm not disagreeing with that. It's just a fun thing to track, guys. Chill. No, I mean, they got enough pieces here to have fun. And you mentioned Owen Casey, one of our favorite players in the league now.
It's our dude. Not that either one of us know him, but our dude.
Yeah.
Jacob Marcy, by the way, I was just trying to look up his WBC stats because I know he played for Italy and played a fair amount. Didn't do the best, but
Spring training.
his team did. So he helped. He helped contribute there for sure. But no, this team again. It's kind of like, to your point. It's kind of like the Rays. I think I would be way more willing to bet against them than the Rays, but I wouldn't be that upset, assuming I don't bet a whole lot, if they end up trumping that game and winning, because they're a weird, just randomly can produce when they want to type of team.
It's funny you say that because I would much rather bet against the Rays than I would the Marlins.
Really,
On any
the
given
Rays are just
day.
scrappy.
I think they both are a little bit. I just think the Rays are a little bit more like stars and scrubs type build, which that piece, like, you can work around stars when there's scrubs around it. And I don't want to be like, I don't
Yeah,
mean
they're definitely
scrubs in
not
the
the
sense
same
that they're
team.
bad
Right.
players
Correct.
necessarily, but there's guys who you're willing to pitch to, even if it's a middle reliever, for example, in a tough spot. Like, you're not too scared of that lineup past junior.
Yeah. One thing I dislike about the Marlins is that they actually went and signed a closer in Pete Fairbanks, because I was hoping that the psycho himself, Tyler Phillips, was going to end up being the closer.
Yeah, guy's a maniac.
because that's a guy I would love to see continue to get better and be on USA's WBC team.
Because he's a maniac.
He's a psycho.
Just personality only.
I mean, the guy just like punches himself in the face as he's running onto the field.
Yeah.
He's just a crazy person. But I thought also that he closed a lot more than he did last year. The guy only had 4 saves.
Yeah. No,
but
it's just a guy. He's going to be a closer, though, with that attitude.
He will at some point, for sure. I think he might intimidate a GM into making him a closer. So,
yeah.
All right. Last of the 10 teams we're talking about tonight, the New York Mets. I want you to go because I feel like you have a lot to say.
Oh, he's got a lot to say. Massive improvements, I think, to an already good team. Bo Bichette, dude can get it done in any way. I think Jorge Polanco, very, very good at as well. Obviously, they lose Pete Alonso, so he's not Pete Alonso. But, like, he's a very good professional hitter. He's been on winning teams. Like, he can do it. We got Lubob coming in. I think Lubob being terrible the last couple of years is more of a change of scenery thing. Like, playing for that White Sox team that absolutely fell apart after huge expectations. Like, it wasn't just him. It was Tim Anderson fell completely out of the league. Eloy Jimenez practically fell out of the league into AAA or whatever. Who else was on that team? I don't think Jose Abreu is like the second he left, like this all went to shit. Moncada,
he's at least like third in LA, but
these guys just like they had the world in front of them and it crashed down, and they were all on.
And they had Garrett Crochet, by the way.
Yeah, it got ugly so fast and so out of the blue. Like from a mental standpoint, I think that's kind of tough. And I hate to say it, but I think Lubob's somebody who like they have to be succeeding to be fully engaged. Like it just seems like mental breaks that I don't think happen on this team when the expectation is much higher. So hopefully.
The thing with him on this team too is him hitting eighth. That's going to take a lot of pressure off of him, and if you can figure that out. Like, I could definitely see him.
Yeah, if you have your 4 hitter.
He could definitely slot back into that
sure.
top half of lineup position. Puts Soto back in the 3 hole. Puts Bichette back at 4. Like, that could be a very good turnaround for this team.
They need a depth here too. Mark Vientos, like right now, is kind of on the bench, but realistically, he's. Realistically, he's a him and Brett Beatty platoon situation, and I know Vientos is hitting about like 040 or something in spring training, I believe. But I'm not worried about that because the dude's proven that he's a good hitter, and he's proven he can be like a 5 hitter in some lineups. So having that as just like a part-time player off the bench, there will be a time when he's an everyday player. Just because of an injury or something. Bo Bichette, no stranger to injuries. Some of the guys on the team are injury prone. Lubob, injury prone. But they have the depth to kind of bridge that gap. Yeah. And then you have, mostly the Freddie Peralta add too, which makes their actually 6 starting pitchers per Fangraphs right now. Completely nasty. Yes. Whenever Senga is your 6th guy, you are in a very good spot. And having 6 starters takes a lot of pressure off the bullpen, which, by the way, also pretty filthy.
Yes. They lost a lot of guys, but then also added a bunch of guys.
Yep.
Dude, Clark's going nuts behind you. But
I don't even hear.
No, I can hear him barking. But Edwin Diaz gone, and they replace him with Devin Williams. I'm A-okay with that. I've never been although Alexis Diaz was a Red, I have never been the biggest fan of the
Diaz's.
wildness of the Diaz's. They got great stuff, but their control is just butt cheeks. I would much rather have Devin Williams than that. And given how Luke Weaver's been ever since he left the Reds, that guy's been a stud as well, potentially a closer on any team. Two fantastic ads as you're losing your closer for so long. I'm trying to figure out real quick they also lost Tyler Rogers, but he wasn't on their team for very long. I mean, they did a massive. I mean, they added so many people to their bullpen. Obviously, with the two main ones being Devin Williams and Luke Weaver, but I mean, all around their bullpen rates very well. I mean, I feel like they actually made good moves this year. Yeah, they got rid of Pete Alonso, their homegrown boy, but like adding Bo, I still think Simeon's got some more in the tank. Adding Lou Bob, who I desperately wanted. Like the fact that your boy Mark Vientos, who was just so key to them 2 years ago, is sitting on the bench right now, is a good omen to what they've been able to do. Now,
Yeah, they have solutions.
Seeing all
across
the
the
defensive woes from Bo in practice, which I feel like people shouldn't be able to record that stuff. Like, you never know if any ball hit a rock or something and it just missed his glove and he looked stupid doing it.
Welcome to New York.
I get that, but I don't know. Because that video was posted, like, early February. It's like, just relax, everybody. But that's what baseball fans do to begin with, so it's no surprise.
You're searching for storylines right now because we're kind of in the lull with spring training.
Pitchers and catchers reported. We have to immediately try to highlight Bo Bichette and say that he stinks.
Hell yeah. Apparently. Yeah, I hear you. No, yeah, I think they have the solution for anything that could go wrong. They have a layer of solutions within the MLB roster, and then you go past that. It's like, all right, if something happens, like to the pitching staff, like, oh, by the way, you have Jonah Tong, who's one of the biggest strikeout pitchers in the minor leagues. Like, is he a forever solution? In terms of like the longevity of this year, maybe not, but like the dude's still like an MLB caliber player. Right. You have like Vidal Brujan, who's, had flashes of at least extreme versatility in the minors. You have MJ Melendez, who's been doing it for, a couple years in Kansas City as like an outfield thing. You have Jared Young, who's bounced around the league a little bit, but like they're all guys who, like, if they're the last person on your bench, you're still in a pretty good spot, and they're not on the bench right now. So they can withstand a little bit of instability, whether it's through injuries or Bo Bichette learning a new position type of stuff. They're in really, really good shape to compete for the long haul and still have kind of that star power needed to get you to a World Series too.
For sure. One person I wanted to add a little bit more tidbit on was Noel McLean. With him being so young and so MLB inexperienced, I'll put it, guy did, I thought, not great in his first appearance for USA, but the fact that he was able to bounce back last night and put together 4 2/3 fantastic innings. I mean, obviously it ended with him giving up 2 runs, but the guy had pitched very well in a high position game. I was very happy to see that, and it makes me feel a lot better about him moving forward too. Not that I was ever down on him, but because he's unbelievable. I mean, but I think they're in good hands they have him in good hands with Noel McLean. Guy's great. Adding Freddie Peralta, that just absolutely bolsters this rotation, which weirdly absolutely carried them to begin the year and then was just trash at the end of last year. But no, I actually feel good about this Mets team. I think that they could probably start off to a hot beginning of the year like they did last year. Hopefully they don't just fall apart, at least if it doesn't benefit the Reds like it did last year. But No, I mean, this team, I think, could very easily win this division. They do have some tough competition in the Braves and Phillies, but we'll get to that right now, shall we?
We should.
All right. So, in the same fashion as AL East, I'll scroll and find the win totals for every team going from bottom to top. Nationals, 65.5. Marlins, 72.5. Where we at? Braves, 88.5. Phillies, 89.5. Mets, 90.5.
3-team race.
3-team race, absolutely, with all three of them being within 2 games of each other for the odds. I definitely agree with the 5 and 4 guesses. I'm probably saying under on National 65.5. I don't think they're going to have like a White Sox from 2 seasons ago type season, but it's still not going to be good. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if they clear 60, or if they don't clear 60. I mean, Marlins at 72.5. I don't know. I feel like that's right on. So that's worse from last year, but
It feels like they overachieved last year, doesn't it?
a little bit, yeah. I would agree.
Like I almost
with
feel like they got better, and I expect them to end worse.
that. Yeah. But I think it's truly because I think the Braves will be a lot better, at least compared to what they were last year. The Mets, I also think will be better. I think they definitely win more than 83. And the Phillies, I do think take a small step back, but that's only in like a couple games. But I think I would. Who do I
You
want
said
to
Philly taking a couple game step back. They got a wide gap to play with based on last year. So is anybody closing that?
I think the Braves do. I'd see. Bless you. Thank you. All right, I'm saying it. I think the Braves take the division. Phillies and Mets are close 2 and 3.
Okay.
I legitimately think this division, all 3 teams, goes down to the last week of the season. Ooh. I'm going to look, while you speak, I'm going to look up to see if they play each other in the last week.
Okay. I love the Braves this year. And I'm happy you're on board. That being said, I can't put them first. Bless you.
Yep.
I can't put them first yet.
Okay.
I'm going Mets. I think the Mets added so much that I think they went beyond replacing Pete Alonso. So I think the Mets severely underperformed last year. I expect them to take the division. I actually wouldn't be too surprised if they kind of run away with it. I think if any team runs away with it, it's them.
Like in the Phillies fashion from last year?
Yeah.
Damn it, man.
I said it last year. Obviously, the Phillies are very similar. The downfall was coming. It could have been last year. It wasn't last year. Could be this year. Might not be this year. Definitely not saying that. But if there's a team of those 3 to completely fall apart, I think it's the Phillies. So I'll put them in third, and then I'll put the Braves in second, which I thought was very optimistic, but against you, apparently not. So happy we have a common team to kind of root for. Kind of like the Tigers from last year, which, by the way, we were very right on. I know I had to pull you over to that side a little bit, but that's kind of a fun journey to watch.
I still didn't fully believe in them, even though I said I did.
Should have.
No, after looking up their schedule, unfortunately, none of these 3 teams play each other in the final week.
It's such a mess.
Phillies and Mets do have a 4-game set in the second to last week, but outside of that, no. So
I'm good with going the first month and a half of the year without playing a division game.
It's just like football to me. Why are we playing division games at the very beginning? So baseball's different. Obviously, you play 13 games against every team. I get it. Or every team in your division, I mean. But
I'm with you. I never understood it.
No, it makes no sense. Why would you have the most important games
in
and
April.
the ones with the so NFL? I get it. Week 1, you want drama, whatever, but it still doesn't make sense to me.
There's just no need to go hot and fast in baseball. It's such a long event. Like, use the first like 3 weeks. Like, everyone's going to be engaged regardless of how bad your team is because baseball's new. And let's face it, there's nothing else on TV once March Madness ends, unless you're like a huge NBA fan. In which case, most of the NBA games are like pointless at this point.
Yeah, I mean,
and hockey too.
playoffs
I mean,
for
Stanley Cup final, sure, but
yeah,
it's just people are gonna give baseball a month at least before they begin to check out if they're a fair weather fan of a team that sucks and they don't care about the league as a whole. So like capitalize on that by having semi, uninteresting matchups and then move into heavy division stuff to kind of, retention.
I very much agree, especially because pitchers aren't fully stretched out at that point. So, like most starters on opening day,
Yeah, they're not going that far.
even if they're absolutely rolling, they're going to take them out after the 6th inning.
Yeah. Also, like, let's not act like anything can happen. Not everything can happen. Like, we're in a tanking culture where, like, we know absolutely, like, granted, one team might change and surprise us, but by and large, most divisions, like, we know who the top 3 teams are going to be, and we know who the bottom 2 teams are going to be. Or maybe it's 4-1, or maybe it's 2 at the top and 3 at the bottom. Like, it varies by division, but like who the favorites are, and the favorites tend to be there at the end, regardless. Yeah. So like even if there's a team that outperforms or something, or a team that gets riddled by injuries, like by and large, you can still anticipate the very important matchups at the end of the year that matter, and like you can pretty much extend the thrill of October baseball into like the entirety of September, which I think would be sweet. Instead of like, I mean, back in the day, like all of a sudden you can bring up the whole 40-man roster in September. It's like, oh, cool. Now I get to see, random prospect play and get like one at bat like every 4 games. It's going to be sick.
Every single at bat.
Yeah. Like, we don't have to do that anymore. Thank God.
The 8th inning itself is taking 30 plus minutes.
Yeah, but I'm with you. Let's backload this thing. We know enough.
Yeah, I mean, it makes it exciting. Like all of them, I forget which one of the teams ended with the Reds and Marlins. The other team ended with the Brewers and Rays. Like it's not even like they're playing the Nationals where it's division where the Nationals are still going to try because there's no real such thing as tanking in the MLB.
Yeah.
Like they're playing out of division games where it's not going to be that fun.
Yep.
But all right, say one more time your division hierarchy.
Rankings?
Yes.
We're going the Mets, the Braves, the Phillies, the Marlins, the Nationals.
Okay, I think I was saying Braves, Mets, Phillies, but probably all within 3 games of each other.
Yeah.
Probably all 3 making the playoffs. And then I agree, Marlins, Nationals. 1,000% Nationals last.
Yes. Yeah. No contest.
Yeah. All right,
Hopefully
we've
it's a
been
good
going
draft.
for legitimately over 2 hours. Do
Hell yeah.
you have anything more to add?
No, I'm good. I mean, 2 fun divisions to talk about, so a little lengthy today, but
Correct.
we usually take longer than we plan, so nothing new here.
Very much we do. So next week, and I'm now telling you this, we're going to have to do 2 episodes before opening day because we're doing our previews. So I would assume Monday, assuming my vacation doesn't get canceled on the return home. But we'll be doing the West probably on Monday, maybe Tuesday, who knows. But then the Central definitely will be either Tuesday, Wednesday, right before opening day, so that me and you can sit here and hash out who's going to win the division between the Reds and Cubs, which I think we both agree it's not going to be the Brewers.
Correct.
Nice, and that's my boy. But we will get to that episode when we get to it. Outside of that, I got nothing else. unless you got something else, I'm ready to sign off and go use the bathroom.
Have at it. Good luck in there.
All right. Well, thank you to everybody that came in and participated in the chat. Thank you for watching. We're going to keep going at this throughout the year. We're going to keep adding fun stuff to keep you engaged throughout it. But so far, this preseason, Jake and I both have been very busy in our actual jobs. So we're trying to get after it, but we'll definitely be getting after it as far as the season goes. So
Yeah, we got more content too coming. So
absolutely. And Barrel Blunder.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The hot
Excited to be back in the community,
Yes.
Ever growing.
Well, all right, that's going to do it for us tonight. We will see you guys next time for the AL West and NL West previews. Peace.